Welcome everyone to the Moisky News for January 8th, 2020. And before we go anywhere, I have some fantastic news. At 9:30 PM GMT tonight, there's a PMQ stream on this channel. In truth, I didn't know it was on until I got back from the gym and turned on the BBC News, and there it was, and I was like, huzzah! We finally get some action. Actually, it's not so great. It's mostly about the Iran issue. And as I'm not as well informed on it, I now have to spend, after I've recorded all my videos, the rest of my day reading up on it. So that stream will be taking place on this channel at 9:30 PM GMT. Link below. Now, I had wanted to talk about Rebecca Long-Bailey's initial pitch to be leader of the Labour Party, which many have deemed lacklustre, rather embarrassing, and unsurprisingly, Keir Starmer has skyrocketed to the top of all major polls on this subject. Shocker, I know. But instead, I want to talk about the UK leaving the EU, because we should be leaving in 23 days. However, while that is more than likely to happen, the new EU chief, Ursula von der Leyen, has warned that Boris Johnson's got some tough talks ahead, and that while the EU and UK will still be the bestest of bestest friends, pinky swear, things won't be the same, and it is impossible for anyone to strike a full post-Brexit trade deal by the end of this year, which would happily coincide with what Jeremy Corbyn proposed last week, when it came to trying to extend the transition phase by 2 additional years, which would happen to coincide handily with many calculations that have come from EU experts and UK analysts, who believe it will take longer than a year. I think it should be until the end of the year, and if they're stupid enough to dawdle, which is what has happened a little, but we've been derailed by a few other rather interesting international events, then we will leave on WTO terms, something I will eventually get round to making so we can fully understand the, and I'll air quote, consequences for those who are sceptical that it is in fact a consequence at all, consequences. Yes. Ursula von der Leyen was using a speech in London today to set out her, and this is what many outlets have called it, Brexit demands, suggesting that her preference is in fact for the transition period to be extended, something which Boris Johnson has categorically ruled out, and he does in fact want a full trade deal by the end of this year. Those first talks will actually be taking place later today between Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen. The speech she was giving took place at the London School of Economics, where she spent a year in hiding as a student after becoming a target of the left-wing terrorist Baader-Meinhof gang. Who'd have believed it? Left-wing terrorists. Imagine my shock. Now, Ursula von der Leyen did say that she would prefer the transition period to be extended, but did say if it is not, then the UK could in fact leave the EU with only a partial trade deal in place. In another tactic, it has emerged that Michel Barnier has been saber-rattling over protections for EU citizens in the UK, calling for a fully independent watchdog to guarantee their rights. Now, at this present moment in time, the withdrawal agreement bill is still progressing through the Commons. It has yet to fully be ratified and basically signed, sealed and delivered. But progress has been made, and Boris Johnson's stance, which has many been deemed a tough stance on the transition period, echoes a key pledge in the Tory manifesto, which does mean there is a race against time to agree the terms of a future partnership. Something Ursula von der Leyen said that took my interest is that she wanted the EU to strike a fully and truly ambitious and comprehensive new partnership with the UK. I'm very much interested to know how that would work. How does the EU, something that wants to be as powerful, if not more powerful than the UK, negotiate with the UK? And with is the operative word there, because at most so far it has been the UK negotiating, begging, with the EU. How do you negotiate with the 5th largest economy in the world for terms that benefit both people, but mostly benefit them, with a Prime Minister, the UK's especially, who isn't as willing to bend over and take it? As a final little aside, when it comes to the career of Ursula von der Leyen, she served as defense minister for Angela Merkel in 2013 and was seen by many as the potential, more than likely successor because she's so popular in Germany. But because of a controversy surrounding her about awarding contracts, military-based, which she was exonerated for, it kind of, ruined her. So I'm somewhat fascinated with her, especially as she has been, and she admitted herself from a young age, a fanatic of Eurofederalism. She does in fact want a United States of Europe, something she has outright said, and its own army. Things that were predicted by some politicians that are considered undesirable, and I, to be honest, would kind of hope they don't happen. No offence to those who do want it, but no, I really don't. But if they do, and we're not a member, who cares, right? Yeah. Anyway, thank you for joining, and if I don't see you tonight over, here, have a lovely day.